Once more, we come to you from the Secretariat of the Nigerian Indigenous Nationalities Alliance for Self-Determination, NINAS. With this emergency broadcast, something extraordinary has just happened. It has to do with the amendment exercise, the current amendment, the 2022 amendment process to the 1999 Constitution. What we are about to listen to now will determine what will happen to this union of death. If we grasp it and take action, we might escape. Otherwise, the caliphate that imposed that constitution has found a way. At the time, our attention was focused on what's going on in Ukraine, to smuggle in their pathway to the RUGA. The RUGA they've tried to bring in, through all kinds of ways that have been blocked so many times. They've continued in this push to constitutional amendment in a manner that is loaded with all kinds of things. Of course, it was their knee-jerk reaction to the constitutional force majeure, the union dispute declared on the 20th of the 16th of December in 2020. That was how it was initiated. But what we see now is that in the midst of the long list of matters that they have slated for their so-called amendment, they managed to smuggle in something none of you will have imagined was their purpose for pursuing the entire amendment process. Just like in the Obasanjo's third term campaign, it was because he wanted to remove the term limit in the Constitution that he initiated the whole long list of amendments that looked all so beautiful, until that one item was identified and it scuttled the entire process. This 2022 Constitution Amendment round is targeted at paving a clear pathway for how the RUGA that the Fulani have been targeting across the whole country can be institutionalized via the Constitution, Constitutional Amendment. How have they, structured it? The so-called local government autonomy, by which the finance of the local government is supposed to be coming straight to them from the federal government, or the sharing in Abuja. One side of the story, which is the beautiful side, is that, it is to, curb the corruption that have been introduced to local government funds by the governors who steal from it. Nobody is thinking about how to curb the heavy corruption that is going on in Abuja. It is the one of local government that has become more important. Accountability. Everybody, the union, Nigerian Union of Local Government Employees are rejoicing that all will be well. That's one side of the story, that is all going to get well and development to come to local government. But their purpose is to take control of your communities by being directly in charge of the local governments, because in that direct allocation to local governments, INEC will take over the function of conducting election into local governments. So basically what they are doing, what that amendment will do, is to remove the governors from the equation, so that the federal government that is under the exclusive control of the Fulani in all its tiers, in all its departments and arms, will now be in charge of your local government, meaning your communities. And when INEC, when federal government, when Abuja is the one selecting or processing who will be council chairman in all the 704 local government areas, and Abuja is the one to transmit money that is allocation to them every month, the governors are no longer able to meddle with it. It is whatever Abuja wants that will happen in your communities. That's where we've landed, if nothing happens now to halt the journey to this, to the conclusion of this amendment exercise. All the other things they put, NINAS already answered them. NINAS already told everybody that the issues to be addressed in Nigeria, the constitutional dispute on the table, is not one for National Assembly to meddle in. They are just committing treason against the rest of us for stepping into our sovereignties, to now be the one discussing our constitution. Constitution making, the mandate of National Assembly is limited to lawmaking. It doesn't extend to constitution making. Constitution making requires constituent powers that are exclusive to the constituents. It is the units that could have been countries of their own that will have to discuss on how to form a union. That is where the power to make constitution comes from. The lawyers in the land, we want everybody to confront the lawyers they know in their own areas. Anywhere you find any lawyer in Nigeria, especially the ones who go to the TV to deceive people about all kinds of things. Section 14(2)(a) of that constitution, even as bad as it is, admits, confesses that sovereignty belongs to the people, from whom government, through that constitution, derives all its powers and authority. There's no other way. Like the memo and articles of a company is the exclusive business of the owners of the company. The owners of this enterprise are the Yoruba that could be a country of 60 million people, or the eastern side that could be a country of 70 million people, or the middle belt that could be a country of 40, 50 million people. Those are the ones who have to come to submit their sovereignties and then decide the terms on how they want to relate. And so the National Assembly already know that they do not have constituent powers to either make or remake our constitution. But the force behind that National Assembly at this time is the Caliphate that wants to take over your lands to now establish the RUGA that you've been blocking them from doing. And so it is by taking direct charge of the local government that they are going to be able to do that. What can we do now? Because it's one thing to get to know about a problem and to get another to find solution. NINAS has a solution, but we are time bound if we have to save ourselves from this impending calamity. That solution is this. The process of amendment, as we can see in the Constitution, if we go to check, the process of amendment does not begin and end in the National Assembly. The State Assemblies, 2/3 of the states, let us listen carefully. The key to our salvation right now, the key to halting the amendment process, the same way the third term was shut down in Obasanjo's presidency, we are able to shoot down this round of amendment to save ourselves from falling into an irreversible situation in which our land now belongs to these invaders. And so the solution to the problem at this time is that because the requirement for completing that amendment process involves the concurrence of no less than 2/3 of the states of Nigeria, there are 36 states. So 24 states must agree with the National Assembly whenever they finish collating what they have approved for amendment. The way to scuttle that movement to that amendment is that the state assemblies must know that it is only if they vote yes for these amendments that it will sail through. And so NINAS is challenging the state assemblies of the South and of the Middle Belt, all of the state assemblies, and is in that same regard calling in the governors of the states. They know how they do their business in their states. They know how they collaborate with their state assemblies for all the other things they've been doing. This is now an emergency. The governors of those states, the state assemblies of those states of the South and the Middle Belt, because this is now a caliphate agenda that is being driven through the National Assembly in the name of the Constitution. And so NINAS is inviting the state assemblies to wake up and block any possibility of passing, in terms of concurrence, the resolution that will support this amendment that the National Assembly has processed for this round. Let us forget all the things that may look like improvement, which they've done. Everything they move to the concurrent list in the amendments they've done. If you go and read, you will see that in that concurrence list, the federal government still has an upper hand. If the federal government has any interest in the subject matter, the federal government will override you. So there's nothing that has changed. All the things are cosmetic. The important things that should change, they are not addressing them. It is the preamble that says that we, the people, have submitted our sovereignty and that we have made constitution. Those are the things that must be addressed before we go to any other thing. Otherwise, what we have now in as 1999 constitution does not represent any union agreement. We have not met, we have not agreed, we've not made any constitution. And so we come back to what has to be done. Those state assemblies and their governors must now collaborate to make sure that no single state in the south or the middle belt will pass a resolution for adopting this round of amendments. If we do that, the exercise is at an end. If we don't do it, we will, by acquiescence, allow them to pass this amendment that allows them control of our local government areas and our communities. We know that the transitional rulers are attached to the local government. The stipend they get in the month comes from what the local governments get. And so this caliphate has perfected a plan to go and get hold of our grassroots, the local governments and the communities. The RUGA will just be a matter of, it won't even be so many years. It will just be a matter of instant. Whatever land they want, they will take it, because there's nobody there now to, there's nobody at all to slow them down. I think that's what we have, the 1999 Constitution that they are standing upon. If we don't take down that Constitution, we're handing ourselves over as slaves to the masters that want to, exterminate us. Let us come together now and shoot down that Constitution to save ourselves from the bondage we have been in for so long, but which is now going to get worse if we allow some more powers to be assumed. We saw what happened with the petroleum industry bill, in which the communities that bear the oil, that bear the brunt of oil production in Nigeria, were deceived into an amendment, a petroleum industry bill that will make life better for them. What did they come out with? 3%. And then communities in the north, where pipelines pass, now become, oil, whatever they call it, oil producing oil, but whatever they call it. They now allow them 10% or something much higher than the ones who are bearing the brunt. That's the kind of thing you get under this Constitution. Our best bet is to act now that we can. State assemblies and the governors of those states of the south and middle belt, let no one pass any resolution in support of this amendment. The peoples of these states, if these amendments pass, your land is gone for good, straight in the hands of the Fulani. And therefore, the members of the House of Assembly, your tenure will come to an end. The governors of those states, your tenure will come to an end. The people who are going to be at the receiving end are the owners of the land that will be taken for RUGA. If any such thing should happen, let it be known to all of us that those who are in that assembly, those who are the governors of today, will be held responsible by those whose lands will be, because it will come down to a fight. That's where it will end. If people say they can't accept this, which they're already saying in various ways. But let us know for sure that the first line of rage, the first line of pushback, the first line of knowing who to hold by the gruff, by the neck, will be those members of the House of Assembly that will pass, any House of Assembly that will pass resolution in support of this amendment. Let all the members of that House, let the governor of that state know that they are the individuals that will be held responsible for whatever goes wrong in this matter. I think we can drop it there.